I'm Amanda White, and this is SEO in 2024.
Amanda, what's your number one SEO tip for 2024?
Yeah, so my number one tip for 2024 is probably the same as it has been for probably the last 10, 15 years. And it's always to think about the user. So, historically we've had things like the Panda update, so 12 years ago now, it's getting quite old. And that sort of stopped people from focusing on poor quality content and content farms and blog networks and sort of scraping content and just filling the web with low quality content. And even back then, if you focused on the user and you wrote for that user and you gave the information that user was looking for, you were not going to get caught up in the Panda update. You focus on that user. And the same with Penguin. So, 2012 now, it's really showing our age in the industry. But if you were to focus on building backlinks for the sake of building backlinks and just gaming the system, as the more you bought, the more link equity you could get, and the better your results. But who was following those links? Who was, were anyone coming through those links and bringing you traffic to the website? So you weren't focusing on the user, you were just focusing on numbers. And then when Penguin hit, you were likely to get caught up in sort of the algorithm updates and lose that sort of authority, and then your websites would decrease via SEO. So even back then, focus on that user. So now it's kind of like even more important as we go into 2024. And, it would be foolish of me not to mention AI in this conversation. So I think it was literally in September this year, we've got a helpful content update, and some of the comments in there from Google were saying, as long as you're creating content by people, for people. And in September 23, they've actually changed that for created for people. So they're actually saying now, well, yeah, it's okay to use AI and it's okay if you lean on it, and we're not going to penalize you because it is the future and it is a part of what the future is going to be. But just always think of the user, always think of that customer, and are they going to get value from that content, whether it's written by you, written by AI, helped by AI, written by somebody else? The user is your number one tip for 2024.
I mean, it's a progressive way to think from Google, because they're basically admitting that within a couple of years, they're not going to be able to tell what's AI, being written by AI, and what's not. So what's the point over the short term and actually trying to identify that when it's the user that matters, as you say? So going back to the user, how do you actually identify who your ideal user is?
Using sort of user profiling and finding out who your user is. So whether that's, doing research literally on your website and looking at your data, so you can look at your analytics data and see your demographics, your age, that's a very, very wide basket of, you can have someone in the same age with very, very different demographics, as it were. So, just finding out where, even if it's as simple as having sort of like questionnaires, pop-ups, quizzes, where you ask your customers those questions to bracket them into your sort of audience profiles and your audience types.
And in terms of asking your customers, your users questions, is that where you create your content from?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a search bar on your website and you've got customers that are searching to find the content on your website, you know that they're looking for the answers. So you know that maybe you should be giving them the answers. And if they can't find them, then your search results, whether you're, if you've got it set up in your Google Analytics, you can see all the queries that your customers are typing in. So when you've got those queries, if they're being pushed to a page that gives the answer, you're already covered. But if not, then that's content that perhaps you should be creating for them to answer those queries.
And should that content be prioritized over other opportunities that look like they have greater search volume? Because you might be doing keyword research and find long tail keyword phrases that look wonderful, that have maybe more than 100 searches per month, and then see the search volume in relation to the on-site queries that people are typing in, and there's no measurable search volume with that. Do you still focus on user queries then?
I think a bit of both. If you've gone to the effort, whether that's SEO, PPC, social, and you've got those customers to your website, they've already shown an interest. They've clicked on a call to action. They're on your website. If they are then typing in a search term or a search query, historically doesn't have any data yet. Like you say, it has lower than, say, like the 100 searches per month. That doesn't mean that it's not valuable. It could be a trending topic, and actually you're getting that data direct from the user, direct from the customer before it's become popular. So does that mean that you can actually get that content, get it first, get it ranking, beat the competition. Whereas when you're, like you say, you're doing the keyword research and you're finding topics, well, everybody else can find those topics too, and everybody else has got a leap on that. Whereas you're using your own data to your advantage.
So you mentioned that Google isn't likely to care if the content's being generated by AI or not, as long as if it's decent content and it matches the needs of the user. So does that mean that you can actually take queries from your site that you've identified that are relevant to your target market and then just simply ask ChatGPT to write it and publish it on your site? Or do you need humans involved in the writing process?
Yeah, it's a dirty answer, isn't it? You need humans. We always need humans, and I don't think the human interaction is going anywhere any day soon. And I think one thing to remember is we've had sort of like the BERT infrastructure with Google since sort of 2019, and that is using AI already to understand language and understand the nuances between keywords and what the person is searching and what the answer is giving on the page. So using AI isn't something new for Google. It's been using it for years. So if you are taking a search query and you're popping it into ChatGPT and it's churning out a piece of content for you, just read it, just proofread it, see the quality, and you'll see it's, you can sort of see the sort of robotic, it's not very personal. It's not got that much character to it. And, then you can start putting in extra prompts to give it character, so, writing the style of and give it that character. But yeah, I think using it as a starting point to give you the bones of an article, and then using that human interaction to add sort of personalization and tone of voice to it, I think, then it's absolutely fine. Which I don't want to say, because if it's like, I don't want to use the robots, I want to use humans. But yeah, I think the future is AI, definitely.
Okay, the future is AI. But by talking about using personalization, using tone of voice, as you're saying there, are users satisfied with written content on a website, or do they naturally gravitate towards video? Would they be more satisfied if you try and answer every query that they have by video, first of all, and then just create a transcript from there to answer the query in written form as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there will be a distrust in written content, because how do you know if it's been written by a robot or written by a human? Are you just thinking, oh, this is just giving me the answer that I think I need to read because a robot has written every single version of said answer, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it's just giving me what I've asked for. So I think there will be a slight distrust in content going forward as AI becomes mainstream. I was talking to some people at the weekend about cookies, and they were completely untechnical people in an exercise group. And they just thought, oh yes, I did press accept because that's what you do. Like, they don't know anything about cookies. They still, even people now, don't really understand. Is that going to be the same with AI? Are people really going to be able to tell whether it's been written by a human or written by a bot? And I think as it becomes more mainstream, and there is a lot more talk outside of our industry about AI. And I think people watching videos of real humans talking, I mean, that could even be, that could be AI produced. We could have videos that aren't actually humans, but that's another whole topic. But I think for people listening to physical podcasts, hearing real human voices, whether that's with or without video, and then, like you say, with a transcript, I think that will become more popular as people maybe lose trust in the written word.
And podcasts, videos can also be consumed on other platforms, of course, as well. So is it still SEO if you optimize your content to be seen on other platforms?
Well, I think SEO is already encompassed, think like YouTube optimization and making sure you've got your keywords in your transcripts and your descriptions and your titles. So there's already been like an element of sort of video SEO, image SEO. I think this is just the next sort of transition of what we always used to call SEO. Is it's always changing. It's never going to stand still. So I think, this is just the 2024 version, should we say?
Absolutely. And as part of appearing on other platforms and in different forums, SEO needs to have greater communication with other marketing channels as well. So what other marketing channels should SEO be working more closely with, and how should they go about doing that?
Oh, well, I'm an absolute advocate for PPC as well. So the terms that you can pull out of PPC, they are real time. So if you are seeing your customers search something in the afternoon, you can have something written by the evening to answer that query. So, to utilize PPC data to influence your SEO content strategy, it's a number one for me. I think the data is there. You're literally getting it from the horse's mouth, so you can use it.
Okay, and is that how you recommend an SEO go about testing? So if they're thinking of targeting some keyword term that's perhaps a little bit competitive, do you always go for PPC first of all to do that testing to see what conversion rates and traffic is like first of all before you spend any time on organic?
Yeah, I mean, it does depend. So, I mean, if it was a sort of a very sort of low investment piece of SEO content, or whether, whether you were just using a piece of ChatGPT to write it, and that was as far as it went, as opposed to, you're organizing interviews with people, or you need case studies, or you need to use lots of data sets, where it's going to be a very involved and time consuming piece of work to get through organic, then yeah, absolutely, you can use PPC. And if suddenly your cost per clicks are through the roof and it's hugely competitive, you then know, actually, this isn't going to work doing a quick ChatGPT answer. It's going to need that time and investment. So yeah, definitely use the PPC as a sort of testing ground to see what's out there first.
And of course, thinking about different channels, it's natural that the user gravitates to different content, to different websites, to different experiences as part of their user journey. So as SEOs, do we have to narrow our focus towards just answering users' questions on our website, and maybe seek initial streams of traffic, the initial inquiry phrase from other channels, other sources?
Well, I think the sort of the internet has sort of changed over the years, hasn't it? We think now in answering the user's query and being the solution to problems. And I think there is still a massive area for content that is not just produced for content's sake, but produced for people to enjoy. So you're not there just saying, like, I'm here for SEO, I'm here to answer the question, I'm here to answer the user, and actually giving something of use, of benefit, because you might be just to portray your brand as a nice fun brand that maybe does something with charity, or it doesn't have to always be we're focused on SEO, we've got to look at keywords, we've got to look at content, and that's our main focus. I actually think the internet will become very boring very quickly if all we're doing is focusing on sort of, we must answer these keyword queries. And actually, I think brands that work with showing their own personality to shine above and beyond just answering the query, I think they will be the ones that succeed, because they're showing they might be using AI, but they're still those real humans behind it.
Yeah, creating content for people to enjoy. I think that's a lovely way to look at hero content, that initial content that people experience. It's not necessarily attempting to drive people down your funnel. It's just introducing them to your brand subtly through some piece of wonderful content that they just really enjoy interacting with. So, if an SEO is struggling for time, what should they stop doing right now so they can spend more time doing what you suggest in 2024?
Oh, crumbs. This is kind of a funny one. So I am still in 2023, 2024. I'm still getting cold emails arrive in my inbox on a daily basis saying, do you want to buy some blog roll links? Do you want to buy, guest posts on these terrible, terrible blog pages? And it didn't work 10 years ago. It's not going to work in 10 years' time. So if that's your main focus as an SEO, is just trying to sell low quality content, then just stop. Like, that's
just stop annoying me.
Yeah, stop annoying me, stop annoying everybody else. So yeah, I think AI is not going anywhere. It's likely to be very heavily the future. So maybe we'll start to see emails of buy my AI content to post on my blog instead. But yeah, I definitely think that the cold emailing for guest posts and backlinks is done. It's over. Stop wasting your time on that one.
Amanda White is an SEO and PPC consultant, and you can find her over at amandawhitedigital.com. Amanda, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2024.
Thank you for having me.
I've been your host, David Bain. Get your copy of SEO in 2024, the book, over at SEOin2024.com.